Hello folks, welcome to another in a series of my presidential talks. Today is the first week of, just check something here. Yeah, today's the first week of July, and we've had a little bit of confusion trying to get my messages lined up and out there because, this is my little studio and I'm working on it. But today I want to come to you and discuss a few things in the area of our candidacy and what is going on, and try to build a case. But I want to talk about America today. We've got a great country. America's a wonderful, great country. But as great as it is, it's flawed in many areas. And as the nations of the world look on at us, and they're shaking their heads and they're talking about this great American that we see is in such turmoil, financially, spiritually, majorly confusion. God has a remnant, so our nation is going to, I believe, can roll past all these issues. The main thing is that, when we have other things going on in our country that are immoral and not right by any means, and you'll notice that those groups and those people are really working together, hanging together, structurally binding together to make their cause. And the reason that the issues that need to be dealt with, the moral issues are not being dealt with, we have to look at the churches. And I don't want to talk condescendingly, but the fact is that they're not at all united. They don't cross over, they don't mix, they don't... I want to give kudos to the Catholic Church. They are more united than most churches, and they will cross over and work together. And but the churches, the churches by and large, the Protestant churches particularly, I'm sad to say that there are pastors that won't even cross the road to go be with another pastor. There's such rivalry out there. There's such competition, so much competitive spirit. And a lot of these pastors, so-called pastors, they're supposed to be shepherds. And actually, in reality, I'm sorry to say this, but they act a little more like sheepdogs than shepherds. And the sad part of many of them are just running around in heat. And they've dropped the banner. They shouldn't even be in the pulpit, a lot of these. I know this is kind of hard talk, and I promise not to talk condescendingly, but there's room at the cross for those guys. They can confess, they can straighten themselves up, and they best, because we will stand before God one day and give account. But as a nation, we need to have more prayer. We need to be fortified. We need to be America needs to really bow before God. There are things coming on this nation that are going to shake this. Some of the things that we've had so far has been a dress rehearsal. God is not satisfied. He's not pleased with the nation. And of course, according to the Word of God, it says in the last days, evil will be perceived as good and good will be perceived as evil. I've talked about that in the past. But America needs to wake up. Do you know only 40% of the nation get out and vote? There's 60% that's laying back. Hands, maybe there's nothing we can do. Oh, there's no cause. Listen, there is a cause. It's a great cause. We need to rally and circle the wagons, as they used to say. We need to come together. As a nation, we've got to come together. We've got to put aside all our bias and prejudices and work together as a nation. Sorry, I'm starting to yell. I am a preacher, so an evangelist, so it comes out of me once in a while. But I want to talk to all people, address all people. God's love is unlimited. And when we start to be concerned about the lesser, the people that are left behind, the people left outside of the circle of the wagons, people that are hurting, distressed, perplexed, and wondering, what's going on. And for those of us that are supposed to be shepherds, we need to examine ourselves before God. We need to give account. We're going to stand before Him one day and have to give account for how we preach and how we teach and how we guide. I want to say that, and I don't mean to be condescending, because listen, but for the grace of God, there go I. I have to examine myself all the time. I don't want to fall into that position. where I've lost my accountability, my credibility. And all the leaders of America, right up to, from down to the president, down to Congress, the Senate, every man had better start taking inventory of his own personal situation and soul. And what is he doing? Because no man is an island. We're all accountable. We need to step up to the plate. And my fellow politicians and running mates, don't be beating each other up. Don't be talking condescending of one another. Present your case, and you're out. You've got to let people know who you are. Don't be so concerned about the other guy and what he's doing or what he's not doing. What are you doing? Now, to be running for the president of the United States, we need a man of God, a man that fears God. Yes, fears God. You know, that's a problem with the nation. We've taken fear. The fear factor's gone away. You don't have the fear or respect of government. You don't have fear of the judicial system. You don't have fear of teachers in schools and in situations where we have people that are supposed to be leaders and accountable. And we drop that fear factor. Even down to the homes, there's no more fear. No one fears. And then even in the church, they say, oh, no, we don't fear God. He loves us. Oh, he loves me. Yeah, he loves you. But you know what? Oh, there I go preaching again. We have to be accountable for our actions. We have to be accountable for those people around us, parents and the media and the filth that comes across the television. Do you know I shut my television off 40 years ago? And I used to tell people, shut that thing off. There's trashes on there. It's almost become an idol to many people. They've got to come home, put the television. Matter of fact, some places I've been through, the television never goes off. What are we putting into the minds of our children? I've seen filth on television and little kids running around and parents just watching it and not even giving a concern. Everything that goes into the mind is like a computer. It takes in everything. All this trash. The trash is going on in the world. We need to tune it out. We need to start waking up. Wake up, America. So I'm just trusting that we're going to start thinking, putting things in perspective, and loving your neighbor. You know, I always refer to that. Love thy neighbor. Love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. I want to remind you, neighbors, everybody you bump shoulders with every day, how do they perceive you? When they talk to you, what kind of a person do they perceive? How serious are you about life? How serious are you about your family? How serious are you about concerned about the things around us? There can't be a lackadaisical attitude. We've got to come together as a nation. There are so many issues. Look what the Supreme Court has just done. Those judges, we need to pray for them. They need to have a Jericho Road experience. God can turn the minds and hearts. Why? Do you know why so much goes down? Because they're few in number that make these decisions. They're few in number that bring the pressure to bear. There are few in number that want to put God out of everything. God will not be pushed aside any longer. He will not be pushed aside any longer. We need to wake up and see what he's doing. He loves us, so he's going to chasten us. This whole world is just about, you know, we haven't been a very good testimony to the other nations either, with some of the things going on now. And that's another thing. We want to condemn other nations for what goes on in their country and make judgment on them and accuse them of doing things. You know, we don't even know who we are, really, from a spiritual perspective. A lot of us don't know where we stand and where we're at. So we're judging them. They're looking in on us and they're saying, you talk about us, but you murder your unborn children. You've got pornography running fast and loose. You've got marriages, you know, men with men, women with women, and that sort of thing. You know what? We need to take those people, talk to them, show them that is wrong. Show them in the Word of God. Don't judge them. Don't kick them around. Don't be mean. Just gently say, listen, you're going down a road. Open up. I talk about the Bible as my computer. I like to use that reference because computers today will lead you anywhere. But my Bible is what I call my computer. It won't break down, shut down, get a virus, I'll let you down. Isn't that great? And there stands, that word has stood for years, for generations and centuries. Everything you need to know is in that book. It'll wake you up. shake you, wake you, and get you into a better place. You know, I'm sorry to, and I don't mean to sound condescending, because I care for people. I wouldn't be running for this office if I didn't care for people. The business perspectives and decisions that need to be made, that's all based on what is your moral base. How about your thinking? I'm going to be encouraging people to get their stinking thinking wrong, right? And stop looking at things because of, it's just the same thing as the media. It does wicked things just to get reviews. It's like the news media. They're going to twist things just to get reviews. It's all about reviews. It's all about the dollar. Follow the dollar. Oh, and by the way, the reason I'm not taking any money from my campaign, people say, oh, you can't do it. You'll never make it. Well, maybe I won't. But I believe that God called me to this post, and if in my heart I feel He did. So if He called me to it, He's going to take me through it, and it's not going to be on somebody else's dollar. It's going to be by my providing for myself as I go across the country, across the land, and just get my message out there. It's the message, and I want to prove God in this situation. Look, I may end up at the end of the road and people laughing, look at that fool, but you know what? I'll be a fool for Christ any day. And I believe that He's got my best interest in that He's going to direct me and tell me what to say and how to say it and not be condescending. I pray before I put on these little clips. And they may not be the greatest in the world. Well, I'm not the greatest speaker. But I'll tell you something. I have a heart that's pure before God, and I have concern about America. I have concern about people that are just discouraged and broken and disgusted and throwing their hands up. I want you to get back in the arena. Come on back in. Join the fight. Work together. I don't care what party you're with. This is a very serious time. As time goes on, we'll realize more and more how serious it really is. And unless we work together, come together, it doesn't. Republicans, Democrat, Tea Party, Independent, no matter what you are, we need to look at the issues and come on board and work together. Don't change your party. I'm not telling you to abandon your party. Let's make sure that our party has a word through whoever the leader is. Let's come together. Let's reason together. Reason together and work this out so that we can get our country back to where it needs to be. In God we trust. We put in God we trust. And then we try to kick God to the curb. Are you kidding? And those that don't have no reverence for God, or they don't believe God, or they don't trust God, you know what I'm going to ask you to do? Watch my campaign. You will see what God has done in my life and what He's doing. He's guiding me along. I'm no great guy. I mean, I don't profess to be some great genius or anything like that, but I have all basic values. My mind is open to situations. We can discuss, we can work together, like-minded, surround myself with men who think the same way as I do, that have a foundation of trust in God. That's what the country is built on, lest we forget. Oh, well. Hey, how you doing out there? Don't get mad at me. I really love you. I love people. I really do. I have no prejudices in me. And I talk to some of these Islamics and those people. You know what? Everybody has a passion. But that passion sometimes has to be readjusted. We have to look at America, what we've done. Murdering our unborn children. Now, I want to come at that. I don't want to come at that as such a. It's a terrible thing that's happening. But let's not beat up the little girls who are out there having the abortions. Let's let those doctors know that they will reap a whirlwind when they talk to a little girl. Now, this isn't going to be so bad as you think, and this is and giving you all this talk. You know what I mean? And then society who backs up the doctor. We're all guilty. We are all guilty. And then these young girls, I talked to a little girl the other day, she had 2 abortions. She said, I feel like my life isn't worth anything. I've murdered 2 babies. I said, honey, can I tell you something? When you repent of that, God is going to wash that away. He forgives you. You need to ask forgiveness. And then you know what the good news is? You're going to see that baby up in heaven one day. If you turn around and you tell Jesus you're sorry, and you start to follow after Him, and encourage other girls not to do those things. Don't beat up our little girls and women that have done that. They've got enough on their back. they realize what they've done. So let's love them and encourage them. Let's put this thing to bed. Let America rise up and take back our country and put this abortion, this thing to, let's wipe it out. That's right, wipe it out, because we need God to bless America. God's not going to bless America until we clean up some of these issues. And God, help us to be an example to other nations. Let them look in on America and say, you know what? They're cleaning up their act. Because if we don't, we're going down the tubes. Rome went down. All the great nations that ever went down was through immorality and all the issues. Immorality. What's immoral? What's immoral? We all know what those things are. Well, listen, I'm going over my time. God bless you. I'm glad I was able to come into your home today. And don't be mad. Just encourage one another. There are other politicians out there. Give them your support. If you believe that they are men of God, and I told you about the women thing. That'll get me in a lot of trouble with these women out there. I don't think a woman needs to run our country. It's not a woman's job. It's a man's job. But so many men have dropped the ball. You know, you'd wonder what you know, there's some great women, and please, don't get me wrong, there's some wonderful, powerful, motivated women in this country and in this world. But you know what? We're calling the men to be men. Stop running around tiptoeing through the tulips, wearing your wife's jewelry and all this stuff, and looking so stupid and foolish. So I mean, well, there I go again. Well, there it is. God bless you. I hope I see you next week. This is the week of July, the first week of July weekend series, and every weekend I'm going to try to have another series. Well, I think my clock has run out. So have a great day, and I hope to see you next time.